Good evening, everyone. I appreciate an opportunity after listening to these wonderful talks that we've had so far to try to just add a little bit of perspective about what I think this means in the world of AI. I'm sure I'll hit on some themes that others have been on, and I'd like us just to focus the time on, what's really holding you back from broad adoption, because that's where everybody will get the value as a part of it. Now, we've heard all night about all sorts of things related to chaos, and I think we can all agree that the businesses that we operate in different ways have a lot of chaos. Some of it is stuff that's from within, some of it's outside of our control. It can be things that are trying to bring order, but instead they're bringing chaos. So you think about regulations and what's happening in the industries that have to deal with those kind of things and how they may change and are complicated and complex, and add that. We also see that a lot of the disruptors that come about take advantage of these opportunities. And frankly, a lot of incumbents also find new ways to have new products, new services, because they take advantage of that chaos that's going on. I would tell you, as we think about this era that we seem to be in now related to artificial intelligence, where everybody wants to talk about it, the question around what it is even more to this point of chaos. People are in some ways afraid of it. They wonder what that mystery is, what's happening in that black box. Can I leverage it in my company? Are jobs going to go away as a part of it? What's going to happen because of it? So I would argue that in this world that we already lived in that was quite chaotic, AI and the technology itself has added to that. It's an interesting point that 94% of companies believe that AI will give them competitive advantage. Yet, we're only at about 14% that have adopted it broadly. And so what I want to spend the rest of the time tonight with you on is why that's the case, and hopefully help you see that many are pushing past these points of challenge and are looking for ways that they can adopt. And I would tell you, this era that we're in around chaos is actually ideal for adopting, because it's all about innovation and experimentation and learning from it and recognizing that the world isn't going to be full of order, that you're going to have to move fast, like we've heard earlier tonight. So, what is it that keeps us all from moving as aggressively as possible for those aspirations, those outcomes that can come from AI? I think it comes down to three main points. One is the data that exists. Second one is the skills or the talent that you may have in your company. And then the third one is that big question of, can I trust it? So let's start back with data. Is my microphone acting up? I thought it sounded like it might. Oh, wow. So let's start with data as a part of this. Just in a day, there's 5 billion searches done. There's about 294 billion emails sent. And that doesn't count all of the things that happen with IoT devices. It doesn't count all the things that happen in our traditional businesses and the data that's a part of that. So just think about the massive amount of data that we have. And if you think about data today, we have things that we've operated on that are, I call them structured. It can even be new feeds and alerts from Internet of Things devices, but they have some structure to them. But then there's a massive amount of unstructured information in our businesses today. And one of the things that I believe AI has really brought to the forefront is being able to handle that unstructured information, whether it be text through natural language processing, visual recognition through image processing, or being able to handle audio, video, etc. as a part of it. So data alone is chaotic. But I would tell you, it's kind of like our human brains, that we kind of function on that edge between order and randomness, which is really that edge of chaos. And if you embrace all that, then we can embrace that massive amount of data that we have, the different kinds, and focus in on how do we have a technology architecture to support that. That's how we deal with the data piece. Skills, listen, they are in high demand. And if anybody in here is an AI professional, machine learning professional, you know that you are in high demand. But there are things that can be done, and there are things that are being done to provide tools and other capability to enable more and more people to get the benefit of it without everybody having to be a PhD in artificial intelligence as a part of it. And then the third thing is about trust. This is the one that I probably get asked the most about because folks are concerned. They question what's happening, but they're also concerned about whether or not they will have consistency in their businesses. Will they be able to support the decisions that an AI-based machine might make or the recommendations that it would make? One of the things we've started with at IBM is a set of principles for trust and transparency, and we've been very vocal about them. They are three things. First, that it will be used to augment humans, and this is meant to say the design point is to help people do the things they're trying to do. Second one is your data and your insights are yours. And that means we have to think about how to handle it in different ways and how to implement it so that then your competitor or worse, someone else doesn't get a hold of things that would be your assets as a part of it. And the third one is that AI systems need to be transparent and explainable. So they need to be able to say, here's why I made the decision I made, and do it in terms that the business stakeholders as a part of it can understand the point. So we focus in on, is it fair? Does it have bias in it? Doesn't mean that it was intentional bias, but over time it can create bias. And what do you do to, first of all, know that, and then second, be able to mitigate it? All the way to a point of, is it accountable? Can you see the traceability from the decision that's being made all the way back to a model version and the training data that was used and who was creating that model and which version? Experimentation, I think, is another important thing, and I think that brings back this point of chaos, which is curiosity and focusing in on more and more experiments and realizing that that leads to innovation. And many of our early adopters and the results they've seen have been about that. It's people that start with a project that's going to be small, aligned to what their business outcomes are, and then makes a difference from there. So I want to give you two quick examples. One, ClearScope, a business development and content marketing company. In less than a month from deployment, they got these results: 15% month-over-month revenue growth and 42% increase in organic search traffic. And that was because of what could be applied to better understand, sift through, analyze top-ranking articles. Seems fairly simple. Second one here is a company, an insurance company out of Finland, OP Financial. And they're focused in on the claims processing process and how do they interact with their customers as a part of it. Much like you saw with the Anthem virtual assistant earlier. Now, how do you help somebody? And think about it. Whenever we go to process a claim, we're not in the best frame of mind when we do that. Something has happened, and we're trying to get through that. And as a part of it, they then have focused in on how do they engage with their customers, and how do they engage with their customers not just to answer FAQs, but to help them through this process so that the customer has a better experience as well. And they have saved $1 per call minute, which is good for the company. But what's also good for the customers is that their average call times have been reduced significantly. These are just some simple examples. They're about starting with those early projects, recognizing that it is important to understand the data, to have an information architecture that ensures you've got governance and know who's doing what with the data and where it's coming from, but also then to put the trust elements around it. So I would close by challenging you all to think tonight about what is holding you back and how do you start on your own set of experiments that can lead to the next innovations in your company. Thank you very much.